Ashlyn.
And I'm Zach.
And this is Sierra, and we're traveling A to Z.
This week we're in Louisiana.
Join us as we stop and see some of the top 18 things to do in and near New Orleans.
We made it to Mardi Gras World, and we're gonna go on a tour. It's around $30 or so per adult, and it's supposed to be a tour of the whole warehouse and the history of Mardi Gras. We're currently in Mardi Gras World going on a tour, and we can see all the different floats. There's about 500 new floats that are made each year, and most of them are made out of like styrofoam. They actually design it by paper and then cut it up piece by piece, and then they like mold it, and then they put paper mache over it, and then they paint it. It's amazing. Like, you would never know some of these are like styrofoam. Some of these are signature floats that they use every year. So different crews have some signature floats. Pretty neat. And crews are the name of the different organizations that put on a parade. And there's about 60 different crews that have parades throughout the carnival season. The carnival season starts on January 6th and goes all the way through Fat Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras. So this is a nice 45-minute tour. You start with a 15-minute informational video. You get a king cake sample, which is actually really good. And then they give you a tour of the warehouse with some of the floats. You also have time to take pictures and just kind of explore the different floats, and they give you history about it. This is a fun little tour. I definitely recommend this tour if you're in New Orleans.
Jackson Square in New Orleans is a historic park at the center of the French Quarters. It is a rectangular square framed by iron fences. At one end stands St. Louis Cathedral, the oldest continuously active cathedral in the United States. Next to the church are former government buildings that now house museums about Louisiana history. The square is named after Andrew Jackson, whose equestrian statue is in the center of the park. The statue commemorates his role in the Battle of New Orleans in 1815. The site itself was originally laid out in the 1700s under French colonial rule and was called the Place d'Armes. The square has a very lively atmosphere with local artists selling painting and sketches. There's music with brass bands, solo performers, jazz, blues, and a whole bunch of other type of musicians, and much more.
We're in the French Quarter. That was Jackson Square. You have the cathedral, which is one of the oldest cathedrals in the United States, and just a whole bunch of really cool buildings.
The French Quarter is the oldest neighborhood in New Orleans and is known for its history, music, food, and bar scene. This area was originally founded in 1718 by the French and was called the Old Square. Its streets followed an old colonial grid and are lined with Creole townhouses, inner courtyards, and iconic iron balconies. Most of the iron balconies were later added by the Spanish rule after the fires in the late 1700s. Lafitte Blacksmith Shop Bar is on the corner of Bourbon Street and is one of the oldest surviving structures used as a bar in the United States and the second oldest building in Louisiana.
This is the French Market.
The French Market dates back to 1791 and is one of the oldest public markets in the United States. The market sits right in the Mississippi, and it became a natural hub for farmers, fishermen, merchants, and locals to sell goods. Over time, it evolved from an open-air trading ground into a covered market you see today. French Market runs about 6 blocks from Jackson Square to Escalade Avenue. In the market, you can find souvenirs, fresh produce, spices, local ingredients, Creole seasoning, hot sauce, pralines, candy, arts, crafts, and so much more. In 1906, at the Central Grocery and Deli, which is in the French Quarter, the muffuletta was invented. The sandwich was invented by the Sicilian immigrants. It is a massive round sandwich on muffuletta bread filled with Italian cold cuts and cheese and then topped with an olive salad.
How's the muffuletta?
It was good. It's a sandwich with, I don't know what like chopped up olives and peppers and stuff on salami and cheese. That's good.
So I had, pastrami, salami, cheese. I think I had provolone and Swiss with the olive kind of sauce, kind of cut up. I'm not an olive person or really a salami or ham person. It was actually really tasty. I could see why it's one of the top sandwiches. It originated here at the Central Grocery Store.
Café du Monde is one of the most iconic cafes in New Orleans, and it was founded in 1862, making it one of the oldest continuously operated cafes in the United States. The cafe is open 24 hours a day and is usually very busy with a long line. We went during the Mardi Gras parade and just walked in and had a table, no problem. The cafe is located in the French Quarters and has a very simple menu with coffee, milk or chocolate milk, and beignets.
We made it to Café du Monde, famous for beignets, and we're gonna have some. Beignets are kind of like a donut covered in a whole bunch of powdered sugar. They look so yummy. They're really hot right now. Let's see how, ooh, they're warm.
Pretty good, huh?
Oh my gosh. I think I made more of a mess than Sierra did. Oh gosh. So we have the beignets. So good, so fresh. Powdered sugar everywhere. It was great. I definitely recommend it. I know why it's the top. So we made it to Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street is a historic 13-block long street running through the heart of the French Quarters in New Orleans, Louisiana. It is world-renowned for its high-energy nightlife, live music, bars, restaurants, and year-round party atmosphere. As you walk down Bourbon Street, there's a whole bunch of music playing from jazz and blues to pop and funk, making it really fun. During the daytime, Bourbon Street's more laid back and it's touristy and surprisingly calm compared to nighttime. The streets are much less crowded, the music is not as loud, and there's less bars open. They do have an open container law, which allows people to carry alcohol in plastic cups while walking the streets. During the day, you could also see the historic buildings and balconies, and people are still throwing beads from the balconies, at least when we were there. During the day, it's okay for kids and families. At night, the vibe changes to being a lot more crowded, especially after 8 and 9 p.m. It's loud with music blasting from almost every bar. There's neon lights, DJs, street performers, and there's a strong party atmosphere with dancing, singing, and drinking.
From Bourbon Street, Sierra got our first beads. Very fun. It is busy down here, people everywhere, drinking, eating, having fun. This is a good time. There's actually quite a bit of kids out here right now, but when it gets dark, they recommend no kids down here in Bourbon Street. Where are you at?
Mommy. New Orleans is famous for parades, and they have parades all year round. The most famous parades are during Mardi Gras or the carnival season. The carnival season with the most parades starts January 6th and ends on Fat Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras. There are a lot of parades that happen, and you can look on the Parades app to see when they're occurring. During the carnival season, there's approximately 4,000 float riders, and they throw more than 2 million cups, 3.5 million coins, and 250 million beads during the carnival season. Mardi Gras, or Fat Tuesday, is the day before Ash Wednesday. The date changes every year depending on Easter. Mardi Gras is a huge event in New Orleans, and almost the whole town shuts down, kind of like Christmas. There's a lot of different parades that go on all over the city, but the major ones are Zulu and Rex. We went to Zulu. The parades are a lot of fun and definitely a must-do when visiting New Orleans.
We're gonna go on the St. Louis Cemetery #1 tour. It is the oldest cemetery that is still around in New Orleans. To go into the cemetery, you have to have a tour or have a loved one there. That's where you meet. Oh, they have exhibits and... We just checked in for our cemetery tour. So the tour starts in this old train station, which is really neat. That's where you check in. They also have this gift shop and a little bit of informational signs about the history of New Orleans.
The St. Louis Cemetery #1 is one of the most famous and beautiful places in New Orleans. It was established in 1789 and it is just outside the French Quarter. It is the oldest surviving cemetery in the city. It is recognizable for its above-ground tombs, often called cities of the dead. The tombs are above ground not only because of flooding, but because high water table made deep graves impractical. The Spanish and French burial traditions favored Montessori tombs, and the reuse of family tombs were common and accepted. Bodies were placed in vaults, and after decomposition, remains were removed to make room for others, hence the phrase after year and a day.
There's 10,000 people buried in the cemetery. And you can see the crosses. If they're fancy, the people had money. Perpetual care means the Catholic Church will take care of the tomb for eternity. If you don't have perpetual care, they kind of get into ruins unless your family decides to take care of it. It's a society tomb. They have 2,000 bodies in there. Closed forever. It's too full to put any more bodies. These are wall crypts. We are heading to the National World War II Museum. It's supposed to be one of the best World War II museums in the United States. This museum is 7 sections. It's huge. The tour starts on the train.
The National World War II Museum is the official World War II museum of the United States, designated by Congress. It is one of the top history museums in the country and a must-see when visiting New Orleans. The museum is over 400,000 square feet and sits on about a 6-acre campus in downtown New Orleans. There are 7 main buildings that combine exhibit halls, theaters, galleries, archives, and other supporting facilities. The museum presents the American experience of World War II through immersive exhibits, artifacts, films, and personal stories that show why the war was fought, how it was won, and its impact on the world. We're going to take you through some of our favorite sections we visited. The first section is Louisiana Memorial Pavilion, which focuses on how the U.S. got into the war and geared up to fight. This area has massive artifacts like planes, tanks, and Higgin boats. They also have introductory galleries that set the timeline and global stakes. The third section is Campaigns of Courage Pavilion. This focuses on the fighting itself between European and Pacific theaters. It's split into 2 major experiences, the Road to Berlin and the Road to Tokyo. In this area, you'll see immersive battle recreations, personal stories of soldiers, nurses, and civilians, weapons, uniforms, maps, and vehicles. The 5th section is the Freedom Pavilion and Boeing Center.
So we headed to the Boeing Center. Sierra loves airplanes and trucks. So she's in heaven right now.
This area is pretty neat because you get to see full-size World War II aircraft suspended overhead and displayed at the ground level.
We just finished going to the World War II Museum. It is amazing. It is so big. There's so much history, really good displays. You need like a whole day or more to go through that. A half a day is not enough, but it was worth going if you're in the area. I recommend that you check out the Riverwalk while you're here. You walk along the beautiful Mississippi, and there's a nice walking trail, running trail if you want. There's a lot of different memorials as you walk along here with statues and parks. Plus they have a lot of different areas you could sit.
The New Orleans Riverfront Trail is a nice stroll along the Mississippi River. The trail is approximately a 2 to 3 mile walk one way, going from the convention center to the French Quarter area through Crescent Park without doubling back. The trail follows the edge of the Mississippi River, where the city was founded in 1718 and grew into one of the busiest ports in the world. The riverfront powered trade, immigration, and culture, but it was also central to the slave trade and the city's economic rise. As shipping modernized, the old docks declined and were later reclaimed in the 20th century as public parks and walkways. The trail is like a self-guided historical walk, and you could see informational plaques, memorials, and sculptures. This is a nice, relaxing path that takes you away from the bustling streets of New Orleans.
We're heading to go ride the Creole Queen historic riverboat. There's a few different riverboat rides you could take on the Mississippi. We're taking the one that has the stop at the old battlefield. That's the river cruise. It's the Creole Queen. We're going on a boat!
Yay!
Ride a boat!
The Creole Queen historic riverboat cruise takes passengers down the Mississippi River aboard a traditional paddle wheel riverboat styled after the 19th century steamboats that once dominated the Mississippi River. As the large rear paddle churns through the water, a historian narrates the story of New Orleans, the Mississippi's importance, and the events leading up to the Battle of New Orleans in 1815, giving riders a sense of how the river shaped the city and its defenses. The boat then docks at the Chalmette Battlefield, where you get out to explore the grounds, monument, and visitor center at the site where Andrew Jackson's forces defeated the British. After on land, the Creole Queen turns around and you have a relaxing ride back to the city, where the narrator talks about Hurricane Katrina and how it affected New Orleans.
This is one of the largest sugar factories in the world.
This sugar refinery produces millions of pounds of refined sugar every day from Louisiana-grown sugarcane.
We are currently at Chalmette Battlefield, and we're gonna go on a little tour led by a ranger. This was one of the stops on the paddle boat. And this pink building apparently used to be the ranger station prior, now it's falling down.
It is approximately a 400-yard or 0.2-mile walk from the boat to the visitor center. The path is flat, paved, and clearly marked, and as you walk, you can see multiple informational signs that tell you about the battle that happened on these grounds. The Chalemette Battlefield and National Cemetery is one of the most historic sites in Louisiana. The Chalmette Battlefield is where the Battle of New Orleans was fought on January 8, 1815, the final major battle of the War of 1812. The American forces were led by General Andrew Jackson, who defeated a larger British army. The American forces, despite being outnumbered and less experienced, inflicted massive casualties of over 2,000 British soldier losses and only 71 U.S. soldier losses. The victory secured American control of the Mississippi River and became a powerful symbol of the U.S. independence and unity, even though the war had technically ended before the battle was fought.
We made it to Chalmette Battlefield, and they have the battlefield over here, and then a museum. They have a nice museum in the visitor center that talks about the Battle of New Orleans.
In the small museum, you'll see interactive displays and multimedia presentations explaining the battle strategies, historic panels giving context about the War of 1812, and artifacts from both American and British sides such as weapons, uniforms, and maps. Over here you could see the battlefield, and on this side you could see the Andrew Jackson Monument of Chalemette, which is a 60-foot tall obelisk.
This is a large oak tree. It was the original oak tree on the battlefield. You could stop at this battlefield. It's part of the National Park Service. You could get there by boat. You could also drive there in a car. So you don't have to go by boat. We went by boat, which was really cool. I recommend doing that. It's a fun experience, but you're rushed. You only get like 40 minutes or so here. They do have a ranger that talks about the history of the Battle of New Orleans. In the visitor center, they have a really cool display that talks about the battle, if you want to read it. And then they have a nice little monument, and you can see the battlefield. It's a nice little stop if you're in New Orleans. Wow! That's the 5-minute alarm that the boat is going to be leaving. That was the cable car. We're gonna go ride the cable car. They have cable cars all over this town. Driving is rough, so if you can take public transportation, you can get a Jazzy Pass, which is $3. It'll take you all over the town for the day. So that's what we bought. And we're gonna go ride the bus, like Sierra said, or cable car. The pass is good for buses and cable cars.
The St. Charles Avenue streetcar line is the oldest continuously operating street railway in the world, beginning service in 1835 and originally using mule and steam power before switching to electric operations in 1893. Today, the streetcar network includes multiple lines such as the Riverfront and Canal Street lines.
Are we on a cable car?
San Francisco, huh?
It's a cable car. Yeah, it's basically a bus. We are heading to the Jean Lafitte Swamp Tour. It's about a 30-minute drive south of New Orleans, and we're gonna hopefully go see some alligators. We're gonna go on a swamp tour. We're going on a pontoon boat versus like a airboat because it's not as loud. The airboats are super loud and we didn't want to do that for the baby. But the pontoon boat should be nice and relaxing. They recommended doing the first tour of the day because you're gonna see more wildlife. I hope so, we'll see.
The Jean Lafitte area sits on a mixture of cypress, swamp, marsh, and bayous just south of New Orleans. It's part of the Mississippi River Delta system, and it's one of the most complex wetland ecosystems in North America. The swamp area is forested, shaded, slow-moving water with cypress trees. The marsh is open grass wetlands, and the bayou has narrow, winding waterways connecting everything.
We're in the swamps of Louisiana. Well, I guess the bayous. Bayous and swamps of Louisiana. It's pretty neat. Big alligator.
The top thing to see on this tour is alligators, and they're most commonly seen in the warm months from spring to fall. You'll also have a chance to see a lot of birds, such as the snowy egrets, bald eagles, and blue herons.
This is where we turn around. We start to make our way back. Along the way back, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to come back here and ask and just yell at me. And we'll turn some kids' music on for the ride in as well.
This is a pretty neat tour. You got to see alligators, ride a boat, go through the swamps and bayous, see a whole bunch of different birds, and they tell you about the history of this area and how it's a national preserve or historic preserve. And they tell you about the alligators. And they all, yeah, alligators. alligators. We just finished our swamp tour. It was really fun. It was about an hour and a half or so ride on the boat. They tell you about the alligators and some of their names because some of them are frequent in certain areas. I guess they have their own territories, so they kind of know where the alligators hang out. We saw at least a dozen alligators. It was a great little tour. I recommend it. We are currently on our way to Oak Alley Plantation, which is about an hour drive west of New Orleans. It's supposed to be a gorgeous plantation. It's famous for its quarter-mile oak trees that line the driveway as you drive up. It was known as a sugar plantation, and we're gonna go tour the property. We made it to Oak Alley Plantation. We're gonna go on a plantation tour. They have a whole bunch of different buildings and areas and gardens you could check out.
Oak Alley Plantation is a historic Annabelle plantation along the west banks of the Mississippi River. This state was part of a booming sugarcane economy of the 19th century. It has been designated a National Historic Landmark for both its architecture and landscape.
We're heading to the big house. We're gonna go on the big house tour. It's about a 35 minute tour through the plantation house. It is a few extra dollars. It was $28 if you didn't want to do the big house tour and $31 if you did. So for a few more dollars, I figure we'll do the big house. We have reservations now to go. So this is Oak Valley. There's a quarter-mile road to the Mississippi that leads to the house with 28 oak trees. And this is what it's famous for. Well, one of the things it's famous for. There's 28 columns that go around the house. There's also 28 oak trees. The guy liked 28. He tried to make things orderly in his life. We just finished the big house tour of the plantation. It's really pretty inside. They give you some history of the plantation and the owners. You're not allowed to take pictures or video, but it is really nice. I recommend checking it out.
While Oak Alley's beauty draws in many visitors, its history also reflects the harsh realities of the Annabelle South. The plantation was built and operated with the labor of enslaved people who worked the sugarcane fields and helped build the mansion. Beyond the main mansion, the Oak Alley Plantation property includes a collection of historic outbuildings that illustrate how the plantation functioned as a working sugar estate. These included reconstructed slave cabins, which now house exhibits focused on the lives, labor, and family structures of the enslaved people who lived there, as well as the blacksmith shop, sugarcane processing areas, agriculture support structures, and much more.
Between 1836 and the Civil War, over 220 men, women, and children were enslaved at Oak Alley.
On site, there's a sugarcane theater that shows a short film and visual displays that explains how sugarcane was grown, harvested, processed, and why sugarcane production was both highly profitable and extremely labor-intensive. They have a restaurant and gift shop on site, so we're gonna go have some lunch. The restaurant serves a variety of Southern, Cajun, and Creole-inspired breakfast and lunch dishes.
So I see everyone walking around with a mint julep. Apparently they make their own mint syrup out of the sugar cane here, and then they use it for their drinks. I got a mint iced tea, which they use the same syrup they use in the mint julep in their iced tea. It is so good. It's really tasty. Those are swamp fries. It has roast beef with cheese and like onions on top of fries. Next to the restaurant, they have a nice little gift shop with the Oak Alley Plantation stuff. They have the mint juleps. They have apparently the best ice cream. It's Bluebell, which is super yummy ice cream here in the cafe. Fresh pralines. Kind of a fun little gift shop. We just finished visiting the plantation. It took us about 3 hours to do the property, do the house tour, and have lunch. Definitely recommend it if you're near the New Orleans area. So there's a couple famous drinks they recommend trying, a hurricane and a hand grenade.
Both of these drinks are found on Bourbon Street. Our first stop is to Pat O'Brien's.
This is the hurricane. It originated here at Pat O'Brien's. It has 4 shots of rum in it. Crazy! The hurricanes from Pat O'Brien's were originated 91 21 years ago. I guess all the other ones are replicas and duplicates, but it's a very common drink. Kind of tastes like Hawaiian. It kind of tastes like Hawaiian punch. It's pretty good.
The next stop is to go to Tropical Isles to get a hand grenade, which is New Orleans' strongest drink.
So I got the hand grenade. It's really good. It's kind of a melon taste and it's frozen. They have skinny ones and full ones. This is the large. It's made with Everclear, so it's very strong. So one thing in New Orleans, they have a open container law, so you can walk around with a drink all over town and it doesn't matter, which is kind of nice if you want to get a drink. We're headed to the Antoni's restaurant, which is the oldest restaurant in New Orleans, established in 1840. So you definitely need reservations to come in here, and you have to dress up business casual or nicer to come in. This restaurant has 13 different dining rooms. As you walk around, they have history and different photos all around the whole restaurant that you can look at. It's pretty cool.
The restaurant could seat more than 700 guests at once, making it one of the largest single-location dining establishments in the city. The restaurant has the largest above-ground wine cellar in the United States. It is 165 feet long and could hold over 25,000 bottles of wine.
So the oyster Rockefeller originated here, and we could do a 2-2-2 so we could try all the different oysters. Zach is going to try them since I don't eat oysters, but I'm going to get the Brussels sprouts, which sounds amazing. They also have the baked Alaska that you have to order at the beginning of the meal. That's supposed to be not originated from here, but one of the first originating places. The first was in New York, and then they brought it here after the Alaska became part of the United States. Okay, so Rockefeller, that's what they're famous for. Charbroiled and Oyster Bay rum coulis,
I like the red one the best.
which is
I don't know what it is.
charbroiled.
Sure. It has a breading on top that reminds me of like a buffalo chicken. It's good.
How's their famous Rockefeller one?
It's okay. I don't know that it's any better than the other grilled oyster that I've ever had, but it's okay.
We both agree the charbroiled oysters are really good. Almost like a Parmesan taste. So the Brussels sprouts, they're okay. The Creole barbecue sauce on them kind of tasted to me like tartar sauce for like shrimp, but it was still good. Soufflé potatoes. They're like puffed potatoes and French onion soup. Oh, they're like hollow. Oh, that's interesting. It's almost like a soft potato chip.
Yeah, you blew air into a potato, that's what you come out with.
Yeah. Very interesting. Zach got a red fish and crab, and I got a chicken rochambeau.
Look at that.
Do you want chocolate?
Look at that.
Would you like chocolate?
Yes.
Ooh, it's vanilla ice cream with a meringue and like a cake. It's really good. It's big too. We just finished eating at Antonio's restaurant. It was really good. I think the thing they definitely specialize in is their baked Alaska and their oysters.
Yeah, the baked Alaska is delicious. Everything else was good too.
Yeah, Sierra loved the ice cream, obviously.
I hope you enjoyed exploring New Orleans with us. Please subscribe below to follow more of our adventures.